Continuing now with our lead story, will the nation go bankrupt or will President Obama get us out of the recession? Joining us from Washington, Democratic strategist Alicia Menendez. Are you worried the country may go bankrupt, Ms. Menendez? You're a young woman. I mean, you know, I'll probably be dead before we collapse, but, you know, you'll be around. What do you think?
Yeah, I think bankruptcy might be a little bit dramatic, but I'm certainly worried. And as you suggested, I'm sure most young Americans are worried that this is going to fall on us. Now, we've been on the wrong path for the last 8 years. And so I think, if nothing else, people are happy to see that we're changing course.
All right,
now,
wait. Changing course, wrong path, all of that means nothing. Let's get very specific. You get a president elected because the country wanted change. No doubt about that. Okay, so there's President Obama. President Obama comes in his first month. He spends more money than any human being in the history of civilization. Is that the change that you want? Do you want that massive spending?
It may not be the change I want, but it may be the change that we need. Right now, I like to think about it like we're giving sort of an electric shock to America's heart. And once that's over, we can talk about proper diet and exercise. But for right now, we actually have to do targeted spending to get America back on track.
Okay, that's not a bad answer. I'm not going to quibble with that. But you basically have a $13 trillion debt right now, which America can never pay off. As soon as the rest of the world loses confidence in the United States and starts to sell their bonds, not invest in America, not buy dollars, then we turn into a catastrophe here. So President Obama is taking a big risk with all of our lives by this massive spending package. If Dick Morris's prediction comes true, it does not work, the pain is going to be 10 times worse than it is now.
Well, I mean, I think that projection is... It's really a guessing game, and I don't think anyone knows. I'm not a betting lady. I wouldn't bet on that.
There's no doubt it's speculation. But do you, as an American, as a liberal American, do you think about the dire consequences if all of this massive spending does not, as you put it, put a shock to the heart of the economy?
Well, I like to think of myself as a... Yes, of course. I like to think of myself as a progressive American, not necessarily a liberal American.
Whatever.
That's a fight for another day. But I think, I mean, I don't think there's any American right now who's not thinking about, regardless of their party or political affiliation.
Well, certainly the media, the left-wing media, isn't thinking about it, because you'd never hear this kind of analysis on NBC News or CBS or ABC, or you never read about it in the New York Times. All you hear from them is Bush is the devil, he ruined the country, and we have to have a massive amount of spending to get us out of what Bush did. That's all you hear. You don't hear, if it doesn't work, Barack Obama could go down in history as the worst president of all time. And that could happen.
No, absolutely. I think people, though, you know, there's this pretend 100 days that I think means nothing. And yet I do think the media wants to give him the 100 days to really see what he's going to do before there's too much meta game time analysis. You know,
but if you,
part of why we keep
that would play, your opinion would play if we're in normal times. But in the first 30 days of President Obama's administration, he has taken such bold action. He has done such a daring thing with our money that you can't give him the 100 days. We may have to sell California to the Chinese in 100 days. We don't have any. Have you been out to California lately, by the way, Alicia?
I have not.
Okay, you have. I was out there last week. They don't have any money. They literally have no money. And they're going to raise taxes in the midst of a recession on everybody, not just rich guys like me, everybody. Going to pay more gasoline tax, sales tax. It is a desperate situation because their progressive government, the people that you represent, spend all day long on health care, on education, and they can't afford it.
The last time I checked, California had a Republican governor.
Oh, all right. No, with all due respect, Arnold Schwarzenegger has zero power in that state. It's the legislature that has the power. You know that. You must know that.
Well, let's talk, though, about what you were just saying about worrying about this.
Though. That's the biggest state. It's run in a progressive way. It's on the verge of toppling over into the Pacific. Why couldn't that happen in Washington?
Well, that's what I was about to say, is that that's where I agree with Mr. Morris, which is that we've actually built a system of government with checks and balances so that something that disastrous cannot happen.
But it happened in California.
In a worst case... But that in a worst-case scenario, we can grab the wheel and turn it back around. I mean, I think the fact that we have these elections pretty much every year and a half means that the American people are going to get to make another choice very soon. So
what you're telling me, Alicia, is that you may vote Republican next time around.
There's no chance that that is happening.
See? But that's what I mean. If you'll never vote Republican, no matter how terrible things get, we don't have checks and balances. Do we?
I'm not switching my party affiliation.
All right, Ms. Menendez, and we appreciate you coming on the program.